All right, you might be asking yourself, what are the various UX career paths that are out there, but more specifically UX design career paths? Because as we have seen, there are many and many UX roles out there. So the very first path that I want you to keep in mind, although not everybody who's starting in this field would think about it, is really the freelancer path. So when you are a freelancer, you just work for companies or you work by projects on a project basis. So you can do it as a solopreneur. You can just go on those platforms such as, I'll put them here. You have Upwork, you have Fiverr, and also you can just have a good brand identity on LinkedIn. So I did mention this and we'll cover it. If you have a good brand identity on LinkedIn, you can put content on LinkedIn as posts and you can do marketing for your own services. So that's like, I think, option one, the most famous one. The other freelancer option is that you can either have your own design agency, so you can work with other designers that you would hire if you grow more and more and you start having a team, and you mostly work on the strategy aspect of things, but not really the actual UX design part. And this is when you grow more as a UX practitioner. But you can also work for a UX design agency. You can work as a freelancer, so they can just pay you by project and you have a contract with them. And that's a good way because you can have multiple, agencies you're working for, and you can have the freedom of like choosing your projects, choosing the clients you would be working on. So that's the freelancing world. It's a very lucrative one. And more of the startups and companies are looking for people who are not only UX design versed, but also know how to do Webflow development. I would highly recommend you a YouTuber that I really like. Her name is Rachel Howe. She has been doing the freelancer option for a very long time, and she talks in her YouTube channel about all the things that UX design for freelancer would entail. And she works on Webflow development now, and that's the one that is the most asked for. So I would say this is like the top thing that is the most like common in Rachel House in Rachel House freelancing YouTube channel. So she talks about the importance of Webflow development in general. So that's the freelancing world. Highly recommend it for you. And it's also good for you to even build portfolio items in the freelancing space, because you can work on projects. Sometimes it's hard to get clients, but I would highly recommend you to just go for it and brand yourself as a freelancer and start putting your resume and details, and then start applying to small gigs. So that way you can build your muscle slowly but surely in a risk-free environment. And obviously the most famous one that I think you're probably looking for is the corporate UX. So as a corporate UX design person, you can be asked to do two things. And I want you to keep that in mind because there are two different ways of being a UX designer. So the first one is to be a corporate UX designer. So what does it mean? If you are in a product team in general, if you work for a product team, you will get to work on designing a new product solution, a software solution for the company you're working for. So in general, you're really into the research, into testing, you work with PMs, with product strategists, stakeholders, etc. And then we have the UX consultant part. So to be a UX consultant, what it means is that you are not necessarily working as an actual designer. You design products that will go live, but you can get to work in a corporate setting for consultancies or even for a company that needs consultants. So let me explain. There are some big consultancies such as McKinsey or Accenture or other big ones like EY. So all of these consultancies need people who understand the importance of UX design and understand the importance of human-centered design. And what happens is that when this happens, then you will get to work with clients that these consultancies are working for. So let's say you have a restaurant or a startup company that needs a UX consultant. because the UX consultants may design some screens, but they are going to talk about, the business requirements, understanding the needs of that startup and clients, maximizing their value while minimizing their time and money investments. So you are consulting, you are someone who will strategize with the client to design a solution, but you will not be the one designing it, screen by screen. You might be designing just a part of it as an example for developers, but you will be more of a strategy person. So you need a lot of communication skills, collaboration skills, consultancy skills. So you need to convince, to know how to get to the down of the pain points and the challenges and the business requirements. You need to work with a lot of business people, a lot of technical people, a lot of decision makers. And this is a very important skill set. It's very high pace to be a consultant, but it's very, very lucrative and also rewarding as an experience, because sometimes when you're a corporate UX designer, you might design things that may not go to market or go to be launched. So it's a little bit of a challenge. So then there are companies who like to have UX consultants within their center. So there are companies who have what we call a professional services center. So let's say this is an insurance software company. They're selling insurance software to AXA Insurance in France. So if they're selling that insurance software, they need people who will work with AXA Insurance teams to tell them, hey, this is the software, this is how we want to help you make it apply to your brand, make it apply to how you had the look and feel. Let's use this design system that we have in our company to help you design your screens so they are modern and apply to your look and feel. Use our cloud solutions. Here is our development teams. So you would be working not in the product organization that does all the research and all the creation, but in the delivery part of the software solution to other companies. So you'll be a consultant. So I hopefully this gave you an idea of the various paths. Obviously there are a lot of these little differences and variations. You could be UX researcher that does a little bit of design, but usually this is what the UX designers see in terms of pathing.